Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Alright, y'all see what we got going on here today. As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. I know y'all heard the story by now, based around DC YoungFly's fiance passing, because it's floating all around social media at this point. We already know she passed, taking a trip out to Miami to have what they call that mommy makeover. Man, check this out. You got 85 South very own Carlos Miller and Chico Bean. They feel like social media is the reason behind JackyOh's untimely demise. Do y'all agree with that? To a certain point, I do. I'm only speaking from the point of emphasizing with DC YoungFly, because he's now a single parent. And if y'all don't know the story of JackyOh, she was actually raised by her father, which was a single parent as well. And that's only because JackyOh's mom passed when she was young. And when you think about it, it's almost like life is repeating itself over again, but for their seeds. So it's almost like that cycle has played a part in JackyOh's life again. But now that's being passed down to her children. So I know you got some folks out there that's trying to go at DC YoungFly to understand, why would you have your fiance fly out to Miami to do a surgery by herself? When we all know the physicians, the doctors, and anybody in that medical field, they would tell you, you are not supposed to show up to a hospital by yourself to do any type of surgery. So I'm bringing that up because, again, I know you got some men saying, if that was my fiance, wife, girlfriend, whatever it may be, I would not have allowed her to do that. But we don't know if DC Fly approved of her going to Miami. And I don't think that he did. That's the reason why she went by herself. Because you can tell that DC YoungFly, he loved her as she was. He didn't want her to do all this nip-tuck surgery so she can look better for social media. He wanted her as she was for himself and his children. But now you have 3 young ones coming up and they won't even see their moms. And that's the part that gets to me the most. Matter of fact, while we at it, let's pay our respects and say rest in peace to Jacqueline Smith and condolences to her family. And with that, you even had DC YoungFly. He finally made a statement, basically saying, could y'all give him and his family a little privacy while they going through this difficult time? And I respect that message. It's crazy when you analyze all the things that people get into just for social media. But I do understand that social media is most people claim to fame. So they gonna do anything to maintain the status of their name. But now DC YoungFly, he has to raise 3 little ones by himself. And by a mom not being there, that's a void that nobody can fill. So again, enough from my perspective. I want y'all to hear from a woman's point of view on how she feel about this whole DC YoungFly and his fiance JackyOh passing.
This entire situation is so tragic. If you just think about all the different layers to this story, it really just goes to show the pressures that are going on in our society when it comes to vanity and the way that you look. JackyOh was an attractive young woman and was attractive enough pre-surgery to be a wild and out girl. As we all know, that's how her and DC YoungFly first met and got together. It's just so sad to see that over the years, as they're birthing their children and building their connection together, that sometime after her 3rd child, for some reason, she decides to pivot and choose a different way to maintain her physique and to maintain her beauty. And the weird part about it is there's even footage of JackyOh verbally saying that she has consulted with personal trainers throughout the years to stay fit and toned, and that it is a little bit hard seeing all these women in the media getting surgery while she's trying to maintain things naturally. And so with that said, that lets us all know that JackyOh's perspective was on the importance of maintaining natural beauty, doing things the way that it was always done decades and decades before plastic surgery became such a fad. And so now, coming full circle back to this tragic demise of JackyOh, for some reason, her perspective changed. And so the question becomes, what happened in her self-esteem to make her feel like she had to go and get this plastic surgery?
Well, since you brought that up, you had somebody that was close to them, whom was Carlos Miller and Chico Bean. They understand why a lot of women end up doing BBLs. They were still breaking down the reason why a lot of women feel this way. Because it's a lot of comparing to social media. Because when you sit up there in the hospital and you just gave birth, but at the same time, you on your phone scrolling, comparing yourself to other women that most of the time never had a child. So that's what Carlos Miller and Chico Beans was speaking on. They said a lot of women who had children, they gotta stop comparing their physique to women that never had children. And the reason why that's brought up, because like she stated, there was some audio out there where JackyOh even stated herself she want to do it natural. She don't understand why a lot of women do the BBL. So she chose to do it naturally the whole time until the third child.
And so if we just evaluate some of the reasons that she may have decided to go under the knife, it all ties around the fact that in present day, it is becoming more and more commonplace for even everyday women to go and get plastic surgery.
Especially when you got a bunch of knockoff doctors doing whole surgeries for a discount. They talking about, I do one leg, but do the other leg free. Come on, man. That's the type of deals they putting out there to these women when they get on them surgery tables. So what I'm saying is, y'all got to be aware of the people that's trying to get over on y'all. Especially in this day of age where more people is caught up in their vanity. So you got people who understand that. So they using y'all insecurities as a hustle.
And the unfortunate part is that JackyOh's untimely demise is really just a symptom and an example of what is happening among the mindset of women all across the world. And it is that everything to do with your physical body needs to be quick, convenient, and microwave fast. And because of that impatience, we are not even holding ourselves to fair standards anymore. We are constantly comparing ourselves to women on social media, are using a lot of different filters and not even really posting their true selves. And so over time now, all of the perspectives of a lot of women, especially in entertainment, has become distorted. And JackyOh in this situation fell victim to that false perspective. The fact that she was there getting that surgery all alone, there must have been some people in her circle that didn't agree. And one could maybe question whether DC YoungFly even knew she was getting surgery in the first place.
And that's the main point that I hear a lot of people talking about, is whether DC Fly knew or not. Well, from my perspective, I don't believe DC YoungFly knew, because he would have never allowed her to take a trip out to Miami knowing she was getting the surgery to have her do that alone. DC YoungFly, he would have never had the mindset to let her do that alone if he approved of it. You understand? But like I told y'all before, I feel like she was on some sneak tip because she knew that DC YoungFly would not approve of that. Because like I stated, he loved her just how she was. And that's something that a lot of women have to pay attention to. If your man tell you every day he love you and you're beautiful just the way you are, then what that look like to him, you going on social media, comparing yourself to other women, and some people may not agree with what I'm about to say. But I feel like if she took that trip out to Miami behind DC YoungFly back, then I'ma just say it. She didn't respect DC YoungFly to the level as a lot of people thought she did. Because I'm trying to tell you, man, it don't matter man or woman. If you see true value, or you know you got a real one by your side every day, there's no way you gonna lie to them about taking a trip out to Miami to do what they call a mommy makeover. Because everything in you would tell you I have to be real with this person, even though they disagree with what I'm about to do. Because I want them to know that even though they disapprove of it, they need to know where I am. You understand? So if anybody has the mentality that they feel like their body is not good enough, it's always best to self-improve the natural way. So with that, always be aware and always stay prepared. But hey, we got more in store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.